My name is Emily, and this is my 5th attempt at doing this, because when the camera's on, I forget how to form words and sentences. I get nervous, but I will try to overcome that. Anyway, let's try this again. This is going to be a review of To Build a Fire by Jack London. It is a wonderful 14-page short story about the man going from one camp in the Yukon in minus 75 degrees to another camp in the Yukon, trying to meet the boys, his friends. Not heeding advice of the old-timer and just deciding he's enough, he's macho enough, he's man enough, he can do it. Mother Nature always wins. And this is no exception. Mother Nature will always win. By the way, I'm going to be doing spoilers. I'm sure a lot of people know how this short story ends, but if you don't and you don't want to be spoiled, maybe don't watch right now. The man, who I think is a great concept that Jack London does, he doesn't give him a name, just the man. That itself evokes a sense of sort of pride, masculinity, perseverance. The man, he can do all things. However, this man tries, which is good, perseverance, but he just doesn't go the distance, literally doesn't go the distance. So it starts in a camp, and this young, I believe he's young, because he refers to this older man as the old-timer, and even calls him womanish for giving him advice on, hey, it's minus 100 frickin' degrees outside, not that cold, but pretty cold. Don't do this, or if you're going to do it, don't do it alone. Take someone with you. Old timer, you're old coot, I can do it. So he's dressed okay, and from what we're giving on his dress, and he has some like biscuits in his pack, and he sets off with what we think is his dog, but then it kind of says the dog just sort of follows him. It's a wolf dog. It follows at his heels. So he starts to leave the camp to go meet his boys. He's really looking forward to making it to the next camp because he wants bacon, he wants coffee, he wants good conversation, he wants a warm fire. He sets out with this dog at his heels, and very quickly, obviously it's 14 pages, very quickly on, we learn that this is not going to go well. The man, I don't think, realizes that this isn't going to go well. From the very moment he does not heed the old-timer's advice and whoop, steps out that door into the snow, we know he's doomed. He's doomed. He doesn't. I don't think he realizes he's doomed till the very end, if he even actually figures it out then. So he sets out from one camp to the other in this freezing Yukon weather with this dog at his heels. The dog is actually showing him to delay him, to stop him. He's exerting behaviors. He's kind of sort of heating him off like, hey, the back of my mind, my ancestral wolf pack instinct is saying, I should not be out in this weather. You should not be out in this weather. And that is where the primitive tone, I believe Jack London was trying to use, comes in. The dog is able to use his primitive mind to be like, yeah, no, we're going to die. Or you're going to die. And the man uses his instinct, I don't know, I guess instinct, more from past experience maybe, that he's heard men making it across this, so he thinks he can do it. He doesn't listen to any sort of primitive part of his primitive brain when he does this. So they head out, and he's cold. He's very cold. He treks across, and at one point, he breaks through some ice with his foot. It's the worst. He gets his foot wet. What happens in the Yukon in minus 70 and get your feet wet? You can't feel your feet. So he makes a fire. The fire works, and he's able to actually take his pocket out, warm up some of his food. You know, he has a little meal, he gets some nourishment, throws some to the dog, warms up his hands a little bit, even though he's starting to lose feeling in his hands too. Just the overall tone is just frigid, ominous gloom. You know something is going to happen to this dude, the man. So he warms up, but he wants to persevere. Perseverance. So he gets up and he leaves the fire. I don't know if that was his second bad decision. I think his first bad decision was leaving in the first place. He gets up and he leaves the fire. He treks further, and further. His feet are aching, his hands are aching, he's hungry, the dog is still like, what the heck are you doing, man? So then he tries to build fire number 2. He gets it going. However, he builds the fire under a very big tree that is loaded, its branches are loaded down with snow. He wants to keep the fire going, so he goes under the tree, pop, 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 snaps off some twigs to throw into the fire. When he does that, it jostles the tree and a big clump of snow lands on his fire. At this point, I think if this was the point he realized he's doomed, this would be it. Or this would be the point he realized of his doom, if that's what Jack London was going for. I'm not sure if he still realizes that he's doomed. So the fire goes out. We see something very interesting happen. The man kind of pulls a Forrest Gump, panics. Actually, I think he tries to eat the dog at one point. I don't know if that was before the second fire or after the second fire. Yeah, the dog's not having it. The dog's trying to help him and just like, yeah, I don't know what you're trying to do. The dog gets away from him, but he does try to eat the dog, so there's that. So after a second fire goes out, he does a Forrest Gump and bolts. He tries to run through yay-high snow, minus 75 degrees. It doesn't go very well. And he winds up exhausted, and his lungs are burning because it's so cold. At one point, he spits in the early, I forgot to tell you this, in the early part of the story, just to show you how extremely cold it is, he spits up in the air, and it pops and crickles and fizzles and forms into ice crystals. That's how cold it is. And he's trying to run through this to make it to the other camp to go see the boys. That does not bode well for him. He stops, he's exhausted, he's tired. He lays down, and he has a dream about his death. He has a dream that they find his body, that he is able to tell the old-timer that he was able to smell and taste the bacon, the coffee, everything from the camp with the boys. So the man is having this vision of his death, this dream of his death, and it goes on, and he finally tells the old-timer in his dreamlike death that the old-timer was right, and he should have listened to his advice. And that's sort of the last we see or hear from the man. At this point, the dog kind of howls and sort of smells death in the air and smells the man is no longer with us. And he takes off and sprints, as a dog can do in snow, toward Camp 2, where he knows that he will have a warm fire, some scraps, and maybe just a nice overall relaxing time at this camp. This short story was amazing. I highly recommend it. It has so many themes running through the very brief 14 pages of it. And if you ever want to come across just something quick, this will take you, I don't know if it'll take you 30 minutes to read. Just a quick little read. It's a classic. You cannot go wrong with Jack London. And I really appreciate you guys putting up with my nerves. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I'm just a nervous person. I will do better my next one, where I may or may not review White Fang. Like I said, I love Jack London and I love Steinbeck, and I look forward to doing more reviews of these books on my YouTube channel, and I hope you guys follow me in the future. Thank you. Bye.